A point is a location. It has neither shape nor size. We name a point by a capital letter. You can see in this diagram that we represent a point as a dot. Notice the uppercase or capital letter A. That is the name of that point. On your vocabulary flashcard, you should have the definition and how you name a point on one side along with the diagram, and then on the other side have the word point. A line is made up of points and has no thickness or width. There is exactly one line through any 2 points. We name a line by letters representing 2 points on the line or a lowercase script letter. So if you look in this diagram to the right, the script letter is M. Notice that that script letter does not have a dot associated with it. That's how you know it's a script letter representing the line and not a point on the line. Look at Q. You see how Q has the dot underneath it? That's letting you know that Q is a point on the line. Now, what if we had a line and it had 3 points on it, and I called them D, E, and F? I can name this line using any 2 letters, D, E, and F. So I can name them D, E, and I use my symbol for line. I could name it ED. I could name it EF. I could name it FE. Or I could name it DF and FD. I could use any 2 letters to name that line. A plane is a flat surface made up of points that extends infinitely in all directions. There is exactly one plane through any 3 points not on the same line. We name a plane by a capital script letter or by the letters naming 3 points that are not all on the same line. So in this example, we see this script letter in the corner, K. So we can name this plane, plane K. And what we can do here is draw a line between C and D, because we are allowed to draw a line between any 2 points. Now notice that point B does not lie on the line that I drew between C and D. So we can use D, B, and C in any combination to name this plane. However, if I added a point on this line and named it E, then I would not be able to name this plane D, E, C. That would not be a correct name because points D, E, and C are on the same line. Space is defined as a boundless 3-dimensional set of all points. Space can contain lines and planes. Collinear points are points that lie on the same line. Non-collinear points do not lie on the same line. So I want you to underline the word line in the word collinear. This should help you remember the definition. Collinear means on the same line, because the word line is in the word collinear. So, can you give me an example of 3 collinear points from this diagram? Points A, B, and C are collinear. Coplanar points are points that lie in the same plane. Non-coplanar points do not lie in the same plane. So again, if you look at the word coplanar, we have PLAN, and that's the same beginning as the word plane. So coplanar means on the same plane. That should help you differentiate between coplanar and collinear. So in this example, what points lie in plane S? Points P, Q, and R are coplanar, meaning on the same plane, in plane S. Use the figure to name each of the following: a line containing point Q and a plane containing points S and T. Remember that we can name a line by 2 letters representing points, or a lowercase script letter. And we can name a plane using a capital script letter, or 3 non-collinear points. A line containing point Q. Point Q is right here on this line. You'll notice the script letter off to the side is C. So we can name this line that contains point Q line C. But then you notice that we have other points on line C. We have Q, we have R, and we have T. So we can use any combination of 2 of those letters to name this line. We have 6 options for naming this line using 2 letters: TR, RT, TQ, QT, RQ, and QR. Sometimes students make the mistake of thinking that TR and RT are different lines. But if you look in this diagram, RT is talking about line C here, and TR is talking about that same line. So make sure that you understand that if they're using the same 2 letters, it's referring to the same line. A plane containing point S and point T. So if we look on this diagram, point S is right here and point T is right there. Both of those points are in this parallelogram shape, which is representing plane A. And we know it's representing plane A because A is a capital script letter. So we can name it plane A. Let's see what other letters we can use that represent points in plane A to name plane A. These points need to be 3 non-collinear points. So let's look at Q, S, and T. Q is in plane A, T is in plane A, and Q and T are on the same line. S is also in plane A, but it is not on line C. So we have 3 non-collinear points because S is not on the same line as Q and T. So plane QST is allowed to name plane A. Now let's look at the next set of letters, S, T, and V. Well, S lies in plane A and T lies in plane A. But if we come out here and we look at point V is outside of the parallelogram shape representing plane A. So V does not lie in plane A. So we can go ahead and cross out all of the options that have point V, because V does not lie in plane A. Let's look at plane TQS. So again, we have T on line C and Q on line C, and then S is in plane A, but it does not lie on line C. So we are allowed to use TQS because they are three non-collinear points. Let's look at plane TRS. Again, S is in plane A, T is in plane A, and R is in plane A, and T and R are on line C, but S is not on line C. So those are three non-collinear points. So we have three options to name this plane. Check. See if you can correctly identify names for the plane and a line containing point U. Teachers, pause the video now. Use the figure to name each of the following. Identify the correct names for a plane containing point T. So if we look here, point T is right here in the diagram, and it appears that point T is inside the parallelogram boundaries for plane P. So we can name a plane that contains point T, plane P. And Q, R, and T are 3 points that are in plane P, and they are non-collinear points. So we can use the combination of R, T, and Q to name that plane as well. The one that's the least obvious is plane W, S, T. Well, if you recall from our definition of a plane, there is exactly one plane through any 3 non-collinear points. So if we look, S and T are on the same line, but W is not on the same line as both S and T. So W, S, and T are 3 non-collinear points. So we can actually draw a plane to represent plane WST. Name a line containing point U. So point U is this one down here. And there are 3 points that share or are collinear with point U. We have U, T, and S. So you have those 6 options for naming a line containing point U.